Breaking news in the National Football League. Last week, Kyler Murray, the quarterback of the Arizona Cardinals, has signed a 5-year contract worth $230.5 million. Also, news came down in the NFL on Monday that the NFL has its own streaming service. It is called NFL Plus, where you can stream all the preseason, regular season, playoffs, and the Super Bowl. Starting next Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen, our Nation Sports Show proudly brings to you the start of our 2022 NFL season previews. Breaking down every single division in the National Football League. First up, the AFC South and the AFC North. It's showtime. From the good art to the cool, talking all that is sport. Represent a busted up a nation, bring to you our Nation Sports Show. Here are your hosts, Ezra Vickery, Joey Thornton, Kevin Rory, Randy Giron, and Stephen Wyand.
All right, here we go, folks. It's that time once again. It is our favorite day of the week. Well, outside of probably Wednesdays, Fridays, and any other day that's not a crappy TV show on Monday sometimes. But new regime, new rules. We'll talk about that on another show. But it is our Nation Sports Show. We are here. We are alive. What's going on, everybody? I am Ezra Vickery, and we are here with, well, we got a four-man crew. Our fourth man here, Joey Thornton, will be joining us shortly. He's got a matter to attend, but he will be on with us in just a little bit. So hang tight for all you fans of not JT, Joseph Thornton. He'll be on with us shortly. But we got a lot to talk about. But before we do, let's talk about how you can interact with us and all the ways you can follow us. Of course, you can follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/ON_sports show, Facebook.com/Our Nation Sports Show, and Instagram.com/Our Nation Sports Show. And of course, you can find us here where we're live now, youtube.com/C/Our Nation Sports Show. We're glad to be at the 100 subscriber mark. Keep sharing, subscribing, all that good stuff, and get us to higher numbers so we can eventually get monetization on this channel and we can make a little bit of money. Not much, but we'll make a little bit. And every little bit helps, of course, to help make this show and everything else better and better throughout. But enough about that. Well, of course, you can also don't forget to follow The Nation's Corner at The Nation's Corner on their social medias. Nation's Corner on Twitter. You can follow them on YouTube, youtube.com/The Nation's Corner. You can find them, of course, on Discord, discord.gg/Nation's Corner as well. And then follow my crew, Too Sweet Cosplay, at Too Sweet Cosplay across all socials. Next appearance for us will be C2E2 Comic Con next week, August 5th through the 7th at McCormick Place in Chicago, Illinois. Of course, you can get tickets for that at C2E2.com. But enough about that. Let's go ahead and let's bring our guys on. Of course, like we said, Joey will be with us shortly. So let's get right to it. Our boy here, none other than Mr. Randy Giron. Randy, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Happy Tuesday to everyone. Just happy to be here, and hope everyone is doing good this week so far. And should be a great show tonight. A little NFL news to talk about, and excited. Pretty soon, the Hall of Fame game about 9 days away. I think somebody was saying. I heard today, and it actually involves the Raiders, so that's even better. So. Should be a great show, and as always, glad to be here, and let's go.
Yes, definitely. It's going to be a great show, and of course, the patriarch of this fucking show. Without him, this show would not be possible. Of course, the one, the only Mr. Stevie fucking Wyand. What's up, dude?
What is going on, everybody? Man, it's been a crazy week in wrestling. It's a new era in professional wrestling, and also it's been a crazy week in the world of sports. There was a signing that happened about a couple hours ago that we're going to get into here in a little bit. I know Randy's going to hate that. Nice little tease right there. But anyways, man, what a great week in wrestling, great week in sports, and also we might get into it a little bit later on, but it's also going to be a great week in music as far as concerts for a couple of us. And with that being said, let's go.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know what? Since we got to wait on Randy, let's talk about it now. Real quick music note. You know, we're not going to get too deep on it because we want to keep this sports related as much as possible. But of course, this Thursday I will be at Lollapalooza, where I will be watching the legendary Metallica. Yeah. At the
very first Metallica show.
Yep, at Grand Park in Chicago, Illinois, man. It's going to be an amazing show. Hundreds of thousands of people in attendance. It is going to be wild. It is going to be insane. Cannot wait to see the band. And Steven, you said you had other concert news. Oh, yeah. That's also right. Just remember what we talked about, and that is that the announcement that Green Day will be playing a special Lala after party show on Friday at the Metro in Chicago, which is a small club. For those who don't know, that's one of the clubs that Metallica did in preparation for their Las Vegas and San Francisco shows that they did. So don't forget about that going on too as well. That was just announced earlier today. Tickets go on sale tomorrow at 11 a.m. Only 2 tickets per people at the Metro's website, etix.com, wherever you can get tickets. Steven, you had something else you wanted to add?
Oh yeah, so it's really cool, you know, what these big time bands are doing, like Metallica last year. For those that don't know, Metallica did 2 small shows in San Francisco and in Chicago at the Metro. The San Fran show was at the Independent, and both of those shows I thought were really cool by Metallica because it felt like to me they were giving back to the fans of rock and metal. You know,
and not only that, it had been 30 years since Metallica last played that club in Chicago, the Metro.
Yep, 38 years. Since they played the Metro when Kill 'Em All came out in 1983, and really cool what Green Day's doing. You know, they're going to be headlining. You know, this Sunday when you'll be there. What's also cool is for those that aren't in attendance, like yours truly up there in Chicago, some of those headlining shows will be streamed live to the world. You know, they can watch these shows live and cannot wait to check out another Metallica show yet again. My 12th overall, these guys are like a fine wine. They get better with age, man. And, you're picking a really good time to check them out live. I mean, they're just tight. They're, like these songs sound better than they have had in, years. And that's crazy. I mean, they're just hitting this peak, and it's like the pandemic brought a new lease on life, for Metallica, and
yes, I definitely agree. I definitely agree with that, Stephen, 1000%. It's gonna be awesome to see them in a couple of days. It's gonna be a badass time, and especially if Green Day is gonna be doing the show at the Metro. If I can score a ticket, I'll say screw Sunday and go to the show on Friday.
Exactly.
It's a lot better venue, more intimate. It's gonna have better sound, all that shit. So.
Absolutely. And also, I will be going to Hailstorm this Saturday in Charlotte, North Carolina. And the opening acts are The Pretty Reckless, The Warning, and Lilith Czar. And Sunday, I've been holding on to these bad boy tickets for 2 years, going on 2.5 years. Rage Against the Machine, Raleigh, North Carolina, this Sunday. That has been a show that I've been looking forward to since they went on sale because that was a ticket that was so hard to score when those tickets went on sale in 2020 because they haven't toured at that time in 9 years, and man, it's been a 2-year tour in the making and it's finally happening. And man, there's just a lot of great stuff going on in rock and roll and music in general. And we can keep going on and on about rock and roll because we love rock and roll, but this is a sports show.
Absolutely, man. And let's get right into it. You know what? And we're gonna change gears. We're gonna get into the big signing and of course the contract specifics about Kyler Murray. We'll get into that in a second, but I want to get into a little something Randy mentioned earlier about and that is the Hall of Fame game. That's going to take place on August 4th, which is pretty cool. On Thursday, August 4th, during Enshrinement Week, powered by Johnson Controls, the Raiders will take on the Jacksonville Jaguars at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It is going to take place at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium, adjacent to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton. So it's going to be should be a decent game. I mean, yes, the Jaguars are the Jaguars, but this is a big game. This is going to be a good game. It's two great teams putting up a fight with legends and Hall of Famers in attendance. So it's going to be very, 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 very should be a very, very great game. Randy, you being the ultimate Raiders fan here, let's get your thoughts on this game and what it means to you for your team to be involved in such a grand moment like the Pro Football Hall of Fame Week.
Well, it's amazing to me. It's awesome. I can't wait because Cliff Branch is going into the Hall of Fame that weekend.
What are some of the other? I'm trying to remember some of the other inductees. I don't have it off the top of my head.
I know there's some big ones, but after I saw that, I stopped caring. No, but yeah, Cliff Branch was always one of my favorite Raiders. I didn't really get to see him play as much. He was kind of going out when I was still young and everything, but I watched a lot of film on him, and I know he was definitely, they say once a Raider, always a Raider. So I'm glad he's finally getting that distinction, and it should be a good game. And Jacksonville's looking to turn their whole season around, spend a lot of money, and of course Vegas, a lot of expectations for some of their signings too, and I know we won't see them play, but it's still going to be nice to even see them out there getting ready to get the season going. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's good. It's going to be really, really cool. Both teams get to kind of test their mettle a little early and give us a little preview kind of what they may look like coming up this season. So like you said, Jacksonville, this season is good. We're going to get more into it when we do our preview for all of the divisions coming up here over the next couple of weeks. But you talk about that. You talk about Jacksonville looking to turn their season around. You look at Raiders, who are going to looking back to get back into the playoffs again, possibly even to the Super Bowl this time around. So it's going to be a very, very interesting season. But I did find the Pro Football Hall of Fame list of who's going to be in it this year. The finalists here. You got Tony Baselli,
Jaguar, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Cliff Branch, Leroy Butler, who played 12 seasons with Green Bay.
Yeah.
Art McNally, who was a official and administrator. He was part of the Football League since 1959 to 2015. Sam Mills, who played with the Saints and the Panthers.
Yeah.
Yep. Richard Seymour, who played with the Patriots and the Raiders.
Raiders, yes.
Dick Vermeil, who played with the Eagles, the Rams, and the Chiefs. And then Bryant Young, who played with the San Francisco 49ers.
Right.
That's a good class. Yeah, it is a very good class. Should be a very good night. Steven, your thoughts on this Pro Football Hall of Fame game?
For what it is, it should be decent. But it won't. The great thing about it is that football is officially will be back. Next week. I mean, we have been craving for football since Super Bowl 56. And it's going to be a very interesting game. And, when the regular season finally does get underway in September, Randy, you brought up a great point because the Las Vegas Raiders have a lot of, people, possibly picking them to be one of the heavyweight contenders in the AFC West division. Now that Kansas City is, obviously in the offseason lost a couple of their weapons on the offensive end. And, the Chargers, have retooled their lineup as far as players, and the Vegas Raiders. I mean, getting acquiring the acquisition of the great Devontae Adams at wide receiver. I mean, I'm looking for Adams to have a breakout year in Vegas. This time, with his new team, it'll take him a little bit to get used to the system and the playbook. But once he gets acquainted with that playbook, man, there's just no stopping Adams. I mean, he is a great weapon, and that's a huge loss when he jumped ship from Green Bay to go to Vegas. And I think it's cool that him and his former buddy and teammate Carr are teaming back up again, when I'm looking for Devontae Adams to have a breakout year. And I think he's going to show Green Bay why I was a very important asset to your team, and that's a huge weapon that Rodgers will no longer have, and as far as the game is concerned, I mean, listen, the Jaguars are the Jaguars, they had a very bad year last year. Urban Meyer was not a good mentor coach for them. Too busy partying and doing whatever the hell he wanted to, and other things. And it's just going to be really interesting to see what happens going forward with the Jaguars. How are they going to do with their brand new coach and, when the new picks that they have and, just so glad that come the Hall of Fame game, football is officially back, baby.
Yes. It's going to be a great time, and we can't wait to have football back. And like I said, next week is the beginning of our divisional talk, and next week we tackle the AFC South, right, Steven?
That is correct. The AFC South and the AFC North.
I cannot wait for next week. That's going to be awesome. I love these discussions, and hopefully we're still in contact with our old buddy Lance Meadow. We'll hopefully get him on the show eventually.
Lance is a busy man, and Lance is doing a lot of great things across, sports talk radio, no matter where that man lands. He's calling a game, on Westwood One, sports, or if he's doing the hosting on NFL radio or, Mad Dog Sports Radio on Sirius XM. The man is a very smart guy. And now that football is around the corner, we're going to try to get him on to talk about this upcoming season. And because last year he had a lot of great points last year on who his wild card teams that could have made a playoff splash. And he was right about the Chargers, because that was a great call by Lance, because the Chargers, if they would have fucking, would have just followed the coach's order on Vegas. Hey, we're going to take a knee. Okay, we're in the playoffs. No, sorry, sir, you blew it. So I think the Chargers, when the season gets started, I think they are going to have a better year, but the thing about it is they got to be consistent, because, you can't be up and down like they were last year. And, I'm looking for, when the season finally does start, it's going to be a wild year again. And, looking forward to our pick segment, and those are very entertaining, and just, man, there's no telling what in the world, we're going to discuss during these picks, because it's very entertaining.
Yes, it should be an absolute fun time, and I cannot wait for these picks. It's going to be an amazing time when we do this stuff. Let's get right into it, and let's talk a little NFL news. And we got a good amount to discuss. Let's get right into, of course, the big news, which is the Kyler Murray is sticking with Arizona. Yep, that man has got himself a brand new contract, $230 million. Yes, you did hear me right. $230 million. And how many years is that, guys?
5 years.
5 years. But, and this is a big but.
There's a caveat to that.
There is a caveat to this, and that is that in order for Kyler Murray's contract to remain active, he must have 4 hours of tape study every week. That is because they are concerned about his quote unquote outside interests outside of football, which for him it's watching television, being on the internet, and playing games.
Wow.
So they believe that Murray is not fully committed to the sport. So in order to make him earn that money, they're making him do 4 hours of tape study per week. It's kind of like in order for you to pass this class, you have to do
X, Y, and Z.
You have to do this amount of study per week for this test.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit. I don't think, in my opinion on it, I think if his interests are more he's putting it first before his football, then yes, he definitely that needs to be in the contract, because if you think you're going to screw around and get that kind of money and then screw your team over, think again. A lot of these coaches and a lot of these organizations are not going to have that, because especially after the drama they went through with Murray.
Oh yeah.
This offseason, I do not expect them to play games with him, and I'm glad that they're not.
Right, because
I'm glad that they're keeping this up, because if Kyler is truly, his interests are not what they should be. If he's not worried about the game and he's not worried about tape study and not worried about learning and about helping his team figure out, how do we stop this play from this team, or how do we, what's the best route? Good timing too.
Good timing, Joey.
Look who is in the building, baby.
What is up, fellas? I'm sorry I am so late. I had to help my
brother,
wife
all
find a
good.
trade.
Dude, no worries, because we started out talking about the concerts that we're going to this week, a little bit. So perfect timing. We're just getting into this discussion. Wow, perfect timing.
We just started the Kyler Murray discussion about his contract, and we were just mainly discussing the little amendment in his contract about the 4 hours of tape study per week, because the organization is saying that he is outside interest, which is mainly watching television, playing video games, and being on the internet. He's putting that before football. He's putting that before learning tape study, before learning that stuff, so he can be a better quarterback and lead his team. You know what? Since you're here, man, since you just got here, why don't you lead the conversation off? What are your thoughts on not only the contract that he was given, but also this new amendment in there that we found out that basically says he has to do 4 hours of tape study or his contract is null and void?
So the contract itself, I believe, is a bunch of BS, mainly because of the fact that Kyler Murray is slowly but surely starting to turn into Dak Prescott.
Oh,
An overpaid quarterback who does nothing when the games really count. And that is what Dak Prescott has done since he got drafted by Dallas. And to all the Dallas Cowboy fans, if y'all are out there, y'all know I'm right. Anyway, yeah, Kyler Murray is slowly starting to turn into a Dak Prescott, an overpaid quarterback who does not do much of anything when the games really count. I mean, we saw it last year whenever the Cardinals got beat by the Rams in the wild card. We saw it. We all saw it. Kyler Murray freaking flopped whenever it counted the most. And if he keeps doing that, that contract is just going to be
$230.5 million.
$230.5. Yep.
$230.5 million flushed down the toilet. See you, bye. Now, as far as the basis of the contract itself, like the 4 hours of film study, that right there is actually smart, because Cliff Kingsbury, he knows how to be a winner, and he knows what to do with his quarterbacks that he has had in his coaching career. And for Kyler Murray to study 4 hours of film each week, that is actually very, very smart, because maybe doing that film study will help Kyler Murray be a true, legitimate starter. And that 4 hours of film study is really going to do wonders for him in his mindset, because he'll be looking at those films and he'll be like, maybe instead of doing that, I should have done this, and so on and so forth. Now, as far as the film study is concerned, I hope they don't give him a bunch of blank tapes like they did Terrell Pryor a few years back.
Jamarcus Russell.
But yeah, the film study is really going to be beneficial. And as long as he gets to sleep by 9:30 p.m. every single night, he should be good to go.
That's it.
Randy, your thoughts?
Well, he's always going to come up a little bit short. You know what I mean? Kyler Murray there, but yeah, bad joke. But anyways, it'll be interesting to see.
That was just as bad as one of my dad jokes.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Let's not get carried away. But anyways, it'll be interesting to see, that if his pay does get affected by not doing that. Like they said, if he loses money or anything from not keeping up with it, I mean, it's going to hit him in the pockets, and that's where these days that's where a lot of those guys really get the most mad about their contract or whatever, not being able to make the money. We'll see. And if the Cardinals can penalize him and take money away from him from not being productive,
player.
a team player, exactly.
Yeah.
The more power to him. And I think maybe more teams will do this in the future. And maybe teams will be, the NBA should definitely
I agree with
develop
that,
it.
yes.
They should develop that incentive-based program too.
Now,
Nobody would play in the NFL or the NBA then,
oh yeah. Now, if only
So-
Dallas could do the same thing to Dak Prescott, because instead of trying to turn Dak into an elite quarterback, they're just letting him do whatever the freaking heck he wants and practicing his dance moves all over the field instead of trying to be a elite quarterback. But then again, what the heck am I talking about? Is Dak Prescott? He ain't nowhere near elite, and he never will be.
No.
No. Sorry, Dallas fans. But my thoughts on this situation is, I mean, not only is it taking a hit on the quarterback's pockets, if he's not performing well, but we're talking about it, it takes a hit on the team's pockets too, because they're the ones that's giving him this big fat contract. And honest to God, this might be the smartest move any sports team has made in quite some time. I cannot recall any sport, football, basketball, baseball, etc., where a big fat old contract gets to a star player or a wannabe star player, and there's no consequences. They're just getting their money, taking the money and running and getting the hell out of there with the money. I'm set for life. I ain't got to do nothing, and Kyler Murray, has he had spurts where he's been good? Yes. Last year, case in point, 7-0 was Arizona. Their first loss was against Green Bay on the 4th of November, 2021. And ever since that loss against Green Bay, they spiraled out of control, and Murray's play was not as great as it was in the first 7 weeks. And everybody was overhyping Arizona, saying, oh, they're the top team in the NFC to beat. I'm like, everybody, listen, football is a long, long season. 18 weeks, obviously, since last year. 18 weeks. The season is now. It's a long season. When all the teams are in the tournament, there's anybody's ball game. And the Cardinals last year getting beat 34-11 against the eventual Super Bowl champions, the Los Angeles Rams. Murray was not good in that game. Interception after interception. His offensive line couldn't block worth the damn. And Cliff Kingsbury, for the love of God, cannot coach his ass out of a paper bag if his life was on the line. And listen, I mean, Arizona is making these boldest of boldest moves in the world of sports right now as we speak, because they're telling Murray, all right, sir, you can get your money, but here's a caveat. You better show up for film studies and study hard, because if you don't, sorry, there goes your money down the drain. You can piss it all away for all they care. And that is the perfect mentality of the Arizona Cardinals. It's the first smart move by any organization in any walk of sports life. And I hope to God that the rest of these organizations across every league take notice of this.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely.
I agree. It's like it's almost like a parent telling a kid, you better do what you told, or you're not going to get anything for your birthday. You know what I mean? You better complete these chores, or you're not going to get anything for your birthday.
You don't complete it?
Yeah.
You're getting punished.
Speaking of birthdays, you know why owls don't exchange birthday gifts?
Oh, why?
They don't give a hoot.
Ah, that's it.
30 minutes
Lord.
in. I love it.
Hey, but
Excellent.
Hey, Steven, that's interesting as you brought up Cliff Kingsbury because I actually found an interesting stat on him the other day. I saw that in his head coaching career, this is college and pros, I saw that Cliff Kingsbury has, I think it's like a 43-19 record in the beginning of the college and pro seasons, but in the latter part of the second half of the season, check this out: 24-40.
Good
24 no,
God.
Right now,
No,
right
no,
now,
no, no,
the,
wait,
right
no,
now, the
no,
Jets,
wait.
right now, the Jets are thinking, "Damn, I got a better record than that."
No, wait. I said that wrong. 18-44. That's what it was. 18-44 in the second half as a head coach of his of the college.
Joey, the stats that you're saying makes the Panthers look like a good organization.
Steven,
Hey, no. It's making the Jets, Lions, and Panthers thinking about, well, golly. I mean, forget about the trash cans we got here. The trash cans are all right there in Arizona.
Steven, there's only one thing I got to say about that Panthers comment.
Fuck. I can't believe you've done this.
Oh, speaking of Carolina, how about Matt Prescott versus saying, this whole quarterback competition between Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield is going to be a fun ride. It's not going to be my job to pick the quarterback for
You
my
think?
team. When we know. And I'm like, boy, shut up. Shut up.
This is the most attention Carolina has gotten since the announcement of Ric Flair's last match.
Yep.
Woo!
Woo!
But no, I agree with you guys 1,000% that this was a great move by Arizona to put this amendment in there, because if they didn't, I think Kyler would have been. I think Kyler not purposely. I don't think he would do it purposely, but he would screw the team out of if he wasn't doing enough tape study to make himself and his team better. If he wasn't going to put his team first instead of all of his personal interests, then he's gonna basically take the money and go, because he's, you know what I mean, take the money and not do a damn thing. And he needs to produce. These are the years where he's got to showcase who he truly can be. Not see what he truly is now, but this is the time now where, yes, you have a big fat contract because your team did make the playoffs and all that, but you now got to showcase who you truly are, because you've got this amendment. You got to showcase, hey, I can put the phone away. I can turn my TV off. I can, put the video games aside and go in, do the 4 hours of tape study, learn those plays, learn those schemes. It'd go out on that field and be like, all right, guys, we need to do this. This scheme is going to help us get through the defense here on this play, on this scheme. We're going to do this. Okay, on defense. He needs to showcase what he needs to do. He needs to showcase who he is as a leader and as a quarterback of the future for Arizona. And if he doesn't do that, that contract is going to be. And personally, if Kyler can do it, I expect Arizona to be a dangerous team.
I mean, on paper, they have a very dangerous team, but it's all gonna come down to see how Kyler Murray leads his team out there on offense and how J.J. Watt leads the team on defense. Because I know J.J. Watt
stay healthy. That's the question.
Definitely stay healthy. As long as they stay healthy, and as long as J.J. Watt knows how to lead the defense, which I know he can, and as long as Kyler Murray leads the offense, this Arizona team altogether looks unstoppable on paper.
My only worry with Murray is sometimes he gets too receiver happy. Like if he's on his first or second target, he looks at those guys 90% of the time, and he goes with, okay, I'll throw it to this guy, throw it to that guy. And especially Hopkins. I mean, that's his number one guy. And when you get receiver happy, you don't run through your options like the Brady's do, like the Rodgers do. Like Stafford does, and all the great quarterbacks that came before, and are still playing to this day do, and that's the one thing that has me concerned about this contract, with him is, can he be consistent? Because last year, first half, great. Second half, not so much. Playoffs stunk the joint up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Yeah, I definitely agree. He needs to showcase who he truly is, and this is the time now. With everything on the line for him, he needs to pull. He needs to pull through. We'll see. We'll definitely see when the season comes. We'll see what happens. But let's talk about this big signing, and let's start. This news came down the wire about a little more than 3 hours ago, and that was that former Atlanta Falcons receiver Julio Jones is now officially a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. He signed a 1-year deal to play alongside the legendary Tom Brady, TB12, and to take passes from him. And that is a very, very, very interesting pairing there. You know,
It is.
he's both men older, but still at their age, still the best in their respective positions. Julio Jones coming off injury. Yes, he's coming off injury and coming off a few other things, but I think that Julio still is one of the best receivers we've had in a long, long time.
And now that he's got Brady, come on. I mean, it's not even fair. I mean, Tom Brady tricks us all with the greatest fake retirement, in the world of sports. Yeah, exactly. And now he's going to be paired up with Brady, as JR said at WrestleMania 17, sold his soul to the devil himself. And Julio Jones is now playing with the man that has won 7 Super Bowls as a starting quarterback and beat him in the Super Bowl. If you can't beat him, join him. And if I'm Julio Jones, sorry, Randy, if I want a Super Bowl, my best option is to go to the GOAT, Thomas Edward Patrick Brady. And this is a great move for Jones because you want an opportunity to go to the big dance and win the big damn game, you go play with Tom Brady. Because Tom Brady, it would not surprise me if we're sitting here the week before Super Bowl 57 next year, if Brady and the Bucs are representing in the Super Bowl. But, we're not going to make those predictions just yet because we'll do that later on, down the line, before the season starts. But it would not surprise me if Brady and the Bucs possibly could be going to the Super Bowl yet again.
I wouldn't be shocked either, to be honest, when you have a dynamic duo like them two.
And you still have Mike Evans?
Yes,
Are you kidding me? I mean,
yes, you do. But you also got to understand too, and this is something that I realized when I was talking about this, reading up on it, is Julio is coming off a torn ACL, coming off a devastating knee injury. So this is like every other big player we've talked about who has had these types of injuries. Will he get spooked? Will he be the player that he once was? Will he be able to have that explosiveness to come off the edge? Will he be able to get deep into routes and be able to get himself open? That's a question that we need. That's a question that we need to see instead of just talk about, because as you know, the results on the field tell more than what we could ever discuss.
Absolutely. Also, will he be tentative, running certain routes down the field, the corners,
especially those cuts. As you know, those cuts are the most devastating part when you do those plays is those quick cuts you make to lose the defender.
Especially when you run those little quick ins and outs, and little curls, and all that stuff. And that's also the biggest spook to a receiver is, like when Beckham had his injuries, when pass receivers have had their injuries, with ACLs and MCLs on non-contacting injuries. And those are the most deadliest of injuries, and also the deadliest psyches to players, playabilities, and their thoughts, because, Julio's probably going to be thinking, well, damn, I don't want to make a cut and cut too deep because I might tear my ACL again, but, as an athlete, I'm not an athlete, we're not athletes, but, I would think that the athlete has to go, okay, when you make cuts, you're taking a risk knowing that you might, move the wrong way and you might tear something. But if I'm Julio Jones, I got to play through that psyche, and just be the best receiver that I know I've always have been, in those days in Atlanta. I mean, because let's face it, last year in Tennessee, he wasn't that great. But in Atlanta, he was one of the best consistent top receivers, and I'm looking for him, maybe not to be the top the top receiver of the year, but he will be in the top 10, top 15.
I agree. I think he's going to be in the conversation for that as long as his health holds out and as long as he can play with the same explosiveness and the same overall ability that he had previously to the injury.
Oh, yeah.
Joe, I want to get your thoughts now, man. What's your thoughts on the Julio Jones signing?
You know, I just gotta say, I know you guys are talking positive about Julio Jones, but I'm gonna be the critic here. I'm going to be the critic here. The reason I say that is because, yes, Julio Jones, whenever he was on Atlanta, he had Matt Ryan to throwing him passes, and yeah, he had a great wide receiver partner in Roddy White, who was helping him out for so many years. And now he's joining the man himself, Tom Brady. But I have very legitimate concerns here because of the fact that Julio Jones, I've seen a lot of footage from him over the years, and I've seen nothing but pure cockiness out of him the past number of years. Because he has this mindset like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be the best wide receiver on this team. Ain't nobody gonna hold a candle to me. Run routes day in and day out, run cuts day in and day out, and I'm just gonna be this most amazing wide receiver that anybody has ever seen on the face of the planet. But yet, the one thing that really concerns me about Julio is you guys mentioned it earlier, the injuries. I mean, yes, it is great that he's still playing football, but I'm going to tell Julio Jones the same thing that I've said about Tom Brady, the same thing I've said about Aaron Rodgers, the same thing I've said about all these other players, all these high-profile players who have had great careers to start out and wind up getting injured later on in their careers. You're not getting any younger. So, yeah, I do want to see Julio Jones shine. I do possibly want to see him win a Super Bowl this year with Tom Brady. But as far as I'm concerned, Julio Jones, he needs to step up his game. Yes, he stepped up his game when he was in Atlanta, but the injuries have kept him on the bubble as far as staying consistent, staying productive, being the receiver that he thinks he is. Now, I'm not downgrading Julio Jones at all because, like I said, I want to see him succeed. I really do. I mean, I liked watching him when he was in Alabama in college and whenever he was in Atlanta catching passes from Matt Ryan. And I know that he's going to be great catching passes from the one, the only Tom Brady. But this is his time to step up. He's had his past 2 seasons cut short because of injuries. And if he suffers a severe injury for the 3rd year in a row, it's really going to downgrade his playing status and possibly his future on the football field. So, in my opinion, this is Julio Jones' time to step up, and he doesn't have a whole lot of time left to learn the Buccaneers playbook. So he needs to go out, get his hands dirty, study the playbook, learn the plays, learn from Tom Brady, learn from Mike Evans and Charles Godwin, and heck, even learn from Russell Gage because Russell Gage is, he was a high-profile receiver who was catching passes from Matt Ryan too. So, yeah, this is Julio Jones' time to step up, and he needs to do it now when it counts.
And also as well, Joey, I mean, when you look at the big picture, I mean, Julio Jones is making the move that he thinks that can possibly win him a Super Bowl because he knows that his time in the National Football League, is not a long window. The window of opportunity to win a Super Bowl is very small for Jones.
Mm-hmm.
And, he had that one opportunity in Atlanta. We all know the greatest choke job, in the NFL since 35-3 when Houston blew that lead against Buffalo in 93. and then fast forward to Super Bowl 51 in Houston in 2017, 28-3, looked like the Patriots were dead in the water, but obviously we know Brady brought New England back in that game to give Atlanta the ultimate collapse of a choke job, winning 34-28 in Super Bowl 51.
And that's hilarious to think about. If you think about that, Steven, if you think about that, they blew Atlanta out so bad that it took Julio all these years to recover, and now he's decided to join Tom Brady.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm completely joking, folks. I'm just completely joking. but I am completely joking. We know that does not happen. It's just, we know it's just a matter of circumstance and a matter of, hey, you got the opportunity, why not? Go ahead. Play with one of the greatest of all time. So why not?
I mean, and again, if you can't beat them, join them. And if I'm Jones,
Randy says if you can't beat him, we say if you can't beat him, join him. Randy says if you can't beat him, go to another team and try again.
Yeah, that's what Randy's thinking. I know that's what Randy's thinking, but I understand the players meant. Go ahead, Steve. Go ahead. No. What I was going to finish off saying is, I understand that, what Jones is thinking. Just like Matthew Stafford, last year, when he was in Detroit, losing all of those years and only made the playoffs 2 times with Detroit. And he was telling his wife, look, I want to go somewhere and win a Super Bowl because I've dreamed as a kid and as a player playing on the biggest stage of all and winning in big games. And Stafford made the ultimate gamble, leaving the city that he called home, all those years since 2009 in Detroit, to go to Los Angeles and not only go to the Rams, but take the Rams in his first starting year to a winning season. And not only that, the ultimate mounting top, the Super Bowl victory against the Bengals, 23-20. And, if I'm Jones, dude, if you can pull off this Super Bowl, all the power to you, because I understand his mentality, because if you're a player and you've failed and the window of opportunity is closing very quickly, find the best scenario that you can find. And he's in the best scenario where he can possibly win. Will they do it? We'll see.
Randy, before we get into your thoughts on everything, a couple quick shout outs to the chat. Shout out to, of course, our buddy Front Row, of course, for the Nation's Quarter, who is there. Also, Elder, our buddy Magrovia Mike, the master of Magrovia Karate. Hey. Also, shout out to my coworker and friend Jeff Grice. What's going on, Jeff? Can't wait to see you at work tomorrow. And by the way, take it back.
Take it back.
He knows what I'm talking about. If you see Kindergarten Cop, you know what that is. So shout out to my boy Jeff. Let's go ahead, Randy, your thoughts.
Oh no, like I was gonna say, you were saying can't beat them, join them. No, I just say just beat them. Not even on the field, with a stick. I think that would be better to do with him. But yeah, Julio Jones, he's just gonna be a part of the losing team again, so it's no change. I don't think they'll do much, but it's good for him. He's still got a couple good years left in him, I think, and he's always been a great player to watch, and I'm sure he'll put up some good numbers there too. But here's to hoping
he probably won't have the speed that he used to have, but he still will be a credible threat.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. One of the things, another thing I want to get into, we talked about Julio Jones and what this can mean for, Tampa Bay. Now that they got this extra weapon along with Mike Evans, like you said, Steven, they're pretty stacked right now. They're one of the most stacked teams in the league. Let's quickly mention another former Atlanta Falcon who signed with the team, and that is Mohamed Sanu. And Mohamed Sanu, who has been on the free agent market for a little bit, he has signed I believe, a 1-year deal with the Miami Dolphins.
Wow! All right.
That's according to Mike McCartney. So it's pretty cool that they got it. It's pretty cool that the Dolphins finally got another big weapon for Tua to throw at.
Man, you got Hill and Sanu in there.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Like, ooh, that's pretty good. Pretty good for Miami. You know, like the
Miami had a pretty decent season last
Yup.
year.
And
But
barely missed the
I can't really say
playoffs.
too much about them. You know, they had a pretty decent season, put up some good numbers, had a decent record. You know, when you add stuff, of course, when you add weapons like this, I mean, it could produce more wins for them, but it's going to be dependent how the rest of the team is and where they need to fix things. But I expect this to be a big upgrade for Miami because, like you said, when it came to that team of Matt Ryan, you had him at quarterback when he was good. Matt Ryan, Mohamed Sanu, you had Julio Jones, and then you had at running back freaking
Freeman.
yeah, Devontae Freeman. That was a deadly core of individuals you had on that front line.
Yup.
That you had on that offensive line, and that is insane.
And Coleman
No.
at the other running back as well. I mean, Atlanta had a deadly cast of weapons, and they didn't get the job done. And Sanu going to Miami, that's a pretty good move for him.
Yeah, definitely, I agree with that. It's Sanu. I think Sanu, as long as Tua is able to keep up the success he had last season and
stay healthy.
Yeah, and stay healthy too. That's gonna be one of his biggest things is to stay healthy. And then him and freaking what's his name? Sanu should be a pretty good match. I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on Sanu signing with Miami?
I actually think it's a pretty smart idea because Miami has made a ton of splashes this offseason.
Yep.
They traded for and signed Melvin Ingram when he was a free agent. They went out and got one of the best offensive tackles in the game today in Teron Armstead to help that Dolphins offensive line. Now they got Mohamed Sanu, and not to mention trading for the Kansas City Cheetah Man himself, Tyreek Hill. So putting Tyreek Hill along with Jalen Waddle and having Mohamed Sanu as the third receiver and Gesicki lining up as the tight end, as long as the offensive line can do their job in Miami, Tua could have one of the best seasons of his NFL career. Now, I'm not saying it's going to match up to Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, but it could be a pretty close second. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to go and say this, even though we're going to go more in depth to it in a few weeks. The AFC East is Buffalo's division, hands down. But with all the splashes that Miami has done in this offseason, I would be surprised to see them finish ahead of New England in the AFC East this year. I would not be surprised at all.
Wow.
Because Miami has done a lot of improving this offseason. Now, obviously, the gameplay on the field is going to have to prove that bold statement I just made. But honestly, on paper, I can see it happening. I can see it.
Yeah, I think I could definitely see it happening too. Randy, as far as the Mohamed Sanu signing, what are your thoughts on that?
I think that's a pretty big sign for them. Like you said last year, they had a pretty good season. They made a couple of big moves in the offseason as well. Of course, getting Tyreek Hill, will never ever hurt your team at all.
No.
So I think that it'll definitely improve, and they have one of the best defenses too.
Oh yeah.
And the last couple of years, anytime you don't see them on TV too much, and then when they do, they always talk about how they have a turnover every game, or they had last week they had 5 sacks or something like that, and it's always something different, and their defense has always been stacked, and it's now in it's going to be rough in the AFC. You got to get better and especially in the East, and with Buffalo, I mean, almost impossible to stop at some points. And so we'll get it. Of course, we're all trying to analyze how it's going to be, and we're going to do that next week with this division, even not this division, but soon. And but I think that they will definitely improve and make the East even tougher for New England or even Buffalo to repeat as champs this season.
Yeah, I think. Oh, go ahead, Joey.
I agree. This is a signing. This is a signing where that Miami will not say
Take it back!
That's right.
gonna be good for them. Joey?
I was gonna say, not to mention real quick, Muhammad Sanu has also got some height to him, so he
Yes,
can
he
actually
does.
jump up and catch. He can actually jump up and catch passes that may be a little over Tyrese and Jalen's heads for Tua.
Yeah, he does.
So-
He does have that. He's got that reach and he's got that height. So he's gonna
Yep.
be better for those higher throws from Tua.
Yep, sure will.
Yep, definitely. I agree with that. That's gonna be. I think it's gonna be an awesome pairing with them two, and also like you said, Tyreek Hill at the helm as well. It's gonna be a pretty deadly team on that front. We'll see if they can pull it all together this season. See what kind of impact they make in their division. Real quick before we get out of the football news, real quick on that front, let's talk about one thing I do want to talk about. Actually, let's talk about this. The big news that came out today, and that was that another big news that came out today, and that was let's see, that John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan met this morning with Jimmy Garoppolo. The three-man talked, and after Shanahan told reporters, we have moved on to Trey. That is official coming from Adam Schefter. So the Jimmy Garoppolo era in the 49ers is now officially over.
Yes, it is. And Kevin
Look
pointed that
forward
in
with
our
the young
chat.
kid Trey Lance.
It's a very
Let's
bold
see.
move by San Francisco.
Very bold move, and it's nice for the 49ers front office to finally confirm what we've all been thinking about going into the offseason. Is the Garoppolo area in San Francisco over? Now we can say it officially is. So I'm excited to see what Trey Lance will do for San Francisco this year. I mean, he may not have the best season since this will be his first full season as a starter because he'll be facing all these tough defenses and getting his feet wet. But I say give him about a year or two, he'll be an elite player.
Oh yeah, I think he'll do good. He's in the right system. He's been learning the system for the past 2 seasons, so I think he's actually going to do pretty good. So and I know Kevin's excited because they finally made a decision. It was still up in the air whether or not Garoppolo could come back, and that probably gives Lance peace of mind too, that he knows this is finally his team, so he can finally focus on
Practicing with the team.
getting even better for the team, and we'll see. It'll be interesting, and I think he'll do well. He's definitely got the tools. We'll see if he can put them to use and help San Francisco out. So.
And like you said, Randy, when you look at the big picture, for Trey, and now that he is the man, at the helm, running the ship in San Francisco as the starting quarterback, he now knows, okay, my place on the team is set. I know where I'm at. I know what my role is. I know what I have to do. Play smart. Don't throw stupid picks. Make sure that the offensive line, blocks for me and all that good stuff, and knows their assignments on the defensive players. And and last year, I really thought that, when Lance was playing last year, it was, he was decent, at times, but Trey didn't know, where he fit at that time because Garoppolo was obviously still the starting QB, for San Francisco. And now that, because there were times they brought Trey in and I'm like, dude, he's a credible athlete. when you put him in there, and he's doing a couple of quarterback option plays and running the options and stuff like that, he knows, okay, I can do that. But inside, Trey's going, man, I could do so much more for this team, and that was the biggest problems with Garoppolo. Because honestly, guys, I really truly think that Garoppolo's days in San Francisco were numbered the last couple of times, especially in the biggest spots that he's had. The Super Bowl didn't help him, in 2019, 2020, when he overthrew Emmanuel Sanders down the field in the end zone, running to the end zone, just overthrew him over his head, and he missed him, just barely. And if he would have made that connection, he would have won the Super Bowl for San Francisco against Kansas City and would have, destroyed the Chiefs' chance of that comeback victory and would have broke their hearts, in the end. And I really think that throw, it didn't, it really has affected Garoppolo, in the biggest spots. And it also affected him, as far as their beliefs in him, because in my opinion, I think that Shanahan, he said to the media, oh, I believe in Garoppolo. He's my guy. He's our guy. But in my opinion, I really don't think he was fully there, with Garoppolo, because I think he had his doubts, that, can Garoppolo make the throw when they count? There were times that he did. And then there was times where he ultimately failed, in front of the national, televised audience, in front of our eyes, and, and in front of the media and the world, and the fans in the stadium, and it's just really interesting now, we're so far in the now training camp has officially started for all, teams in the National Football League, and knowing that Trey is the starting QB for San Fran, it's going to be rather interesting to see how Lance does as the starting quarterback in his first official start, because in college, he was a great quarterback, but this is the pros, and the pros are very different than the college level.
Definitely. Let's get into a couple quick other news updates. Let's talk about another big story that came out yesterday, and that is the retirement of former Super Bowl champion Danny Amendola. Amendola actually had offers from teams. Teams were actually calling him to play again, but because he just decided he decided after injuries and everything else, he decided, you know what, might as well just go ahead and call it a career.
Honestly, that is a smart move on his behalf, because all the injuries that he has suffered over the past number of years has really taken a toll on his body. So he woke up this morning, or woke up on that morning he was going to make his announcement. He was like, you know what? I've had a great 13-year career. I've got a few Super Bowl rings under my belt. There's nothing left I have to prove to the NFL, so it's time for me to call it a career. And honestly, I wish Edelman the best of luck, because he went out on that field and gave it everything he had. So
yes, he did, and he was a hell of a receiver.
That's right. My props go up to you, Edelman. You enjoy your next phase of life.
Absolutely.
Amendola, man, just no matter where he was at, the Dolphins, the Patriots, no matter what team he was on, Danny was an incredible threat, on any team that he was on. And Amendola, when he went to the Patriots for the first time, if I'm not mistaken, he was the man that took Wes Welker's spot, as that slot guy. And everybody was going, all right, Amendola, he's a decent receiver, but Welker was our guy, for, almost 10 years, and Amendola fit that role as that slot receiver very well with the Patriots, and obviously ended up winning 3 Super Bowls, if I'm not mistaken, with the Patriots. So hats off to you, dude, for having a great career, winning Super Bowls with the great Tom Brady. Sorry, Randy, once again, for blowing smoke up Brady's ass, but that's what we do, baby. But
yeah, I'm done. I'm out of here now. That's enough.
Yeah, but
Randy's tired of all this Patriot praising.
That's patriotism.
Yeah.
Woo!
I can't believe I'm the only one who fucking caught that at first. Man, you other two are dense.
Yeah,
it's like talking to 2 tree stumps.
Right.
And the other night are part of Carolina.
Oh God.
Yeah. But great career by Amendola. Great career.
I agree. Randy, I already know your thoughts, but you know what? Go for it. Son of a bitch.
Yeah, he good riddance. I mean, congrats. I mean, get the hell out. I mean, yeah. Way to go.
Wow.
Buddy. I mean, get the hell out.
Tell
No,
us how you truly feel, Randy.
yeah. He's one of those guys that kind of paved the way for like you said, the Wes Welkers and even the Cooper Cups, and now the Hunter Renfro's of the league. So,
Sir.
I can't wait to see what Josh McDaniel does with Hunter Renfro this year. It's going to be unbelievable. So, if anything at all, thanks for what's that word? Paving the way a little bit, and I'll give him a little bit of props, but not too much.
Okay. Other news.
Well, first time in Miami, I'll give him props. How about that?
That works.
Yeah. Other than that, no.
Okay. Let's get into a couple other things real quick before we walk out here. Let's talk about first of all, let's get into some more contract extensions, believe it or not, but not on the players' side. Packers have extended the contracts of head coach Matt LaFleur, general manager Brian Gutekunst, and executive vice president Russ Ball. So they'll be sticking around for a little bit. Other quick news, definitely want to send our best wishes to Houston, Texas player John Mechie III, who's going to unfortunately start his battle with leukemia. So he's going to start off. Unfortunately, he's a rookie who just got signed and was diagnosed with that debilitating disease. So all the best to him.
That is terrible.
And hopefully he can get back on the field as soon as possible for the Texans.
Yeah.
And our shout out to our buddy Brian, who is also a big Texas fan. I know that's crushing to him. So all the best to John Mechie.
Beat cancer's ass.
That's right. Come back better.
Yep.
Better than ever. Yes, sir. Good luck to you, sir.
And then why don't we kind of we're getting close to the end of discussions, but let's talk about NFL Plus, the brand new streaming service that was just announced by the NFL, which is going to be right here. According to this right here, it says the NFL Plus offers access to live out-of-market preseason games, live, local, and primetime regular season and postseason games, iPhone or phone and tablet only, and local and national radio or audio for every game. Do you think for the price they're paying, which I don't know the price point?
$4.99 as far as for a month. But if you want to do like a yearly thing, I think you could do like $79.99 for the I read it yesterday, but I don't know the prices completely. But I know one of the prices, if you want to do it monthly, is $4.99, and then I believe
I would imagine it would be about $80 a year because
and then I know there's the plus and then the plus premium. Yeah. So the yearly, just regular plus is $39.99, and the yearly is $79.99.
Yeah, here we go. I think I found the info on it. Yeah, you can you get the regular NFL Plus, $4.99 a month or $29.99 a year right now.
Okay, $29.
For the premium, you get the added benefits, you get full game replays across devices ad-free, condensed game replays across devices ad-free, and coaches films, which are ad-free. That's $9.99 a month or $70.99 a year.
I like the idea on what they're doing. I think it's cool, but in my opinion, you need to expand this to not only phone users, but you got to have this for like computer people or like smart TVs, all that type of stuff, because people do stream this stuff on computers, phones, tablets, TVs, smart TVs, etc. It's really cool. I like the concept. It's finally being done. Because obviously.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing, Steven. like you said, the live local and primetime regular season and postseason games are the only things that are going to be tablet or phone only.
Right.
Everything else on the services is going to be for everything.
Okay.
I don't know if they're going to expand on the Netflix or they're going to expand to add to like the PlayStation store, the Microsoft store for Xbox users, or if they're going to add it to Amazon Fire TVs or whatever. That stuff is going to come later on. We don't know the specifics of it. We just know right now, tablets and phones, you can go on and watch it. I'm sure they're going to add it to other platforms. It's going to be a matter of when, and it's going to be a matter of what the deal they're going to take from those other services might be.
It's really cool. It's really cool what they're doing. I mean, because like you can watch any game basically you want during the regular season, and really cool that if you want to listen to the to the radio play-by-play guys go nuts, especially Paul Allen from the Vikings being the biggest Viking fan, other than the fans. I mean, just hearing some of his calls, were legendary. Either good calls for the Vikings or bad calls for the Vikings. I mean, it's just really cool. What they're doing, being able to hear all these games on the radio teams for each team or the national radio broadcast.
Yes, I agree. Absolutely. One of the other things, real quick, Dave, one of the players from the Packers, I believe it is, here it is, Packers star left tackle Bakhtiari is out now on the PUP list because he hit a snag in his recovery from a torn ACL. So, also, real quick, ESPN analyst Tim Kurchin is gonna be honored by the Baseball Hall of Fame. Well, yeah, it's not NFL, but it's still ESPN. He's gonna be honored by the Baseball Hall of Fame with the Worthy Career Excellence Award. That's gonna be cool. That was reported by Schefter, by the way, so that's why it appeared on my feed here, of course.
Oh wow.
Of course, Schefter decides to report the one thing that isn't fucking football, and I read it during a football discussion.
Yeah,
Sure.
I actually
Get your shit together, Adam.
I actually just found an very interesting story on ESPN News. And
What's that?
Ezra, I don't know if you found out about this or not, but the news about this is broke about 5 hours ago, and that is the fact that the Seattle Seahawks have released running back Chris Carson, and because of that, Chris Carson is now saying that he is going to retire after only a 5-year NFL career because of that gruesome neck injury that he suffered last year.
Wow.
That's insanity, man.
That is insane, man. Like,
yeah, the news broke about that literally 5 hours ago. I was like, what? No!
Just goes to show you that football is a dangerous game.
Absolutely.
It
Anything
is.
can happen at any given time.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Yep.
Wow. Very young, too.
And one other thing, and this is a concerning thing in the NFL. This is very concerning for me as a fan and very concerning for a lot of people. Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, boy.
Is slowly turning into Nick Cage.
Yes, he is.
I'm going to take Kyler Murray's face. Because if you watch the video today on Sportsnet, he showed up to training dressed as Nick Cage from Con Air.
Yeah.
White tank top, blue jeans with the belt, hair back. Insanity. That's why I was laughing so hard. Because I just pulled up the
Are you serious?
Oh, you know what's even funnier? Oh, this got me rolling on camera, and usually I don't try to laugh on camera because I'm trying to actually be professional, which is fuck professionalism. But that Jets tight end CJ Uzomah showed up with a training camp today with the T-shirt with the Time magazine cover with Zach Wilson on it.
Oh no!
After the story came out about how he slept with his mom's best friend.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Oh my god.
Well, hey, Ezra,
Oh man.
since we had so much talk about my favorite player, let's talk about yours. You think that
Oh
speaking
shit.
speaking of Nick Cage, don't you think Aaron Rodgers is a national treasure? I mean, come on.
Oh my God.
God.
That's your favorite
You
player.
know, I
I think he needs to be buried like the second Ghost Rider movie.
oh my God. In
Hey
regards-
Aaron, don't you get the note? Don't you get the clue, you goof? Quit showing up looking like an idiot and actually do something this year instead of failing like you always do against San Francisco and every time in the playoffs. You haven't done nothing since Super Bowl 45 against the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2011.
Lord, next thing you know, Aaron Rodgers be showing up to training camp looking like Vin Diesel.
Sir,
What they say, it's all about family.
That's right.
But hey, in regards to the Jet situation, oh God, I don't know if things could get any worse. I mean, first you got
trust
Mark
me,
San-
it can.
you got Mark Sanchez
It
with the
will.
butt fumble. You got Ryan Fitzpatrick with the 6 interception game he had against Kansas City a few years ago.
Jesus.
And now you got your young supposed future quarterback Zach Wilson sleeping with everybody's mom on the face of the planet. Come on, man. What the hell, bro?
Leia.
Wait, that's
What the
that's
hell,
bad?
bro?
I mean, yeah, that's bad. Oh yeah. Okay.
Yep, that's officially back. What the hell? What the hell, bro?
Hey, don't hang if you can't bang. You know what I'm saying?
Bang bang.
Yeah.
By the way, Aaron Rodgers looking like Nicolas Cage earlier. We mentioned that. Yeah, hopefully in his NFL appearance, he's gone in 60 seconds.
Oh, good one.
Excellent.
Hey,
All right,
Oh,
let's
Lord.
move on before we start
Hey,
making
well,
too many.
that's what some of those women were saying about Zach Wilson too.
Oh shit.
Is that the reason why 24 women are suing Deshaun Watson?
Yeah, that's it.
Well, yeah, you only get a 60-second massage at the massage parlor.
30 seconds remaining.
Like you said.
Time's up.
All right, here we go. Let's move on to some NBA news. Since we got a few things. Right now, the Boston Celtics have emerged as a team that is looking to possibly land one Kevin Durant.
Ooh.
The official 4th week of this whole trade request deal with Kevin Durant.
Wow. That's a game changer for sure. My Lord. They're gonna have to give up too much. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't do it. I really wouldn't do it either.
They got
I
a pretty
would not
they got a
do it
great
either.
score.
No,
I was,
don't do
I
it.
was just about to say, am I the only one to see something wrong with this? Because if I am, then my Lord.
No, Joey, you're
mean-
not wrong at all.
I mean, think about it. Boston would have to give up Jaylen Brown. They had to give up Grant Williams. They had to give up 2, 3, possibly 4 first-round draft picks. All just to land a washed-up guy who can't even really lead much of a team anymore to the playoffs, much less lead his own self onto the court every now and then.
Because
All
that's the
that
problem
just
with
to-
this.
Yeah, I mean,
I have a problem
no.
with this as a Celtics fan. Like, if I'm the Celtics, do not take a chance on this. Because if you take a chance on Kevin Durant, there's no telling how well he's going to do, not only in the regular season, but also in the ultimate postseason play. Because this is not a good signing if this happens. I hope and I pray that this does not happen. Because the Boston Celtics, no offense, are better off without this guy. Because Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are the young core stars of the Boston Celtics that were on the brink of a championship victory if it was not for the juggernaut that is the Golden State Warriors.
Well, the only good thing about it for Kevin Durant is at least he knows Kyrie's not going to be anywhere near Boston. So
Oh yeah, because
he might as well. I think that's what he's figuring on too. He can finally get away from him after this fiasco
yep,
in Brooklyn. So
yep.
he ain't going anywhere near Boston. I know that much.
Yeah.
No, he is not.
If I was Boston, I would not do this.
Yeah, real quick, Steven, I do want to get one thing that we forgot about, and this involves your team, Randy, and that is you have a new football operations assistant, and that is her name is Skylar Fan.
Okay.
She's a former recruiting assistant for the University of Texas at Austin.
Cool.
So yeah,
Nice.
Very nice. Congrats to Skylar Fan. But back to the Boston thing, I do agree. Boston should not take that trade.
Not even close. Like it's a huge gamble.
They would have to give up too much, and I think Kevin Durant is too much of a liability at this point in his age. He's a great player. Do not get me wrong. He's but I just think with the injury history and just with everything else, I think that he can be a bit of a liability. I just don't. Plus, it's more of the fact that Boston would have to give up so much in order to obtain a steal that they would bleed themselves dry. And the rumor is that one of the things they would have to give up would be Jaylen Brown. Why would you do that?
Why?
Jaylen Brown was one of the stars of that Boston Celtics team. You can't get rid of him for Kevin Durant.
Not only that, are you going to get rid of him because, he didn't do great in the finals? Come on, dude. I mean, all the great players have failed and not shown up in big spots. I mean, Michael Jordan, for 7 years in his NBA career, did not win a championship until he got past the juggernaut that was the Detroit Pistons. And then he beat the Lakers in 5, with in his first championship with Chicago, and went on to win 5 more. And you got to go through struggles, aches, and pains to get to where you want in life. Nothing in sports, nothing in life is perfect. You have to go through failure to get to be at the mountaintop. Look at Stephen Curry. I mean, Stephen Curry in his first 4 to 5 years could not stay healthy worth a damn. He was always having ankle injuries. And then around 2013, 2014, that's when he had a very good year. Then in 2014, 2015, he won his first championship after all the struggles, the injuries, the ups and the downs of the playoff losses, having chances to get to the NBA finals, the conference finals. He finally got over the hump. Jaylen Brown is what, 24, 25? He's young as hell. Stay with your team, because the Boston Celtics will benefit in the long run with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum at the helm. They didn't get the job done because they were facing a better Golden State team and a better complete team and a more consistent team. Boston has the tools and the weaponry to win a championship because, hell, they won 2 games against Golden State in the first damn game in their own building in San Francisco. So don't tell me that this Boston collective regime of players can't get the damn job done, because they can. It's just a matter of facing the teams that aren't better than you at that time. This cannot happen, and it better not happen, because if it does, you bet your ass I will be pissed off. And there'll be a lot of pissed off fans, including Kevin, Joey, Ezra, Randy, all of us that are sports fans. And all of y'all out there in sports land, this cannot happen, because this would be worse than the Golden State move that KD made, because at least KD knew, oh shit, if I go to the Golden State Warriors, I'm winning a championship. He goes to Boston, there's no guarantee he ain't winning shit. You can't tell, KD goes to the Celtics, they're winning the championship. No, the hell they're not, because we don't know if they're going to make it, because the Eastern Conference is a tough conference. I mean, you got the Bucks, you got Chicago, you got Miami. I mean, shit. I mean, give me a break.
Yeah, I definitely agree on that front. Joey.
There's not really much I can say. I mean, you guys have pretty much said it all.
Okay.
Huh.
All right, Randy.
Yeah, it's maddening, is what it is. I'm with you on that.
Any more you want to say on this before we move on?
Oh, I'm good.
All right, let's move on to the other big piece.
I spoke for us all.
Yes, you did, you loudmouth son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, Dave Grohl's sending a cease and desist like Kenny Omega did to Will Ospreay.
One of these Daves is not like the other.
Yeah, yeah. You're definitely not just another one.
You're a pretender, sir. He says.
He will never surrender. Anyways,
You know it all too well.
let's talk about this, and that is that Phoenix Suns have announced that they are extending the contract of one Monty Williams.
All right.
So Monty Williams, originally he had 2 years left on his contract. He'll now be sticking around for a few more seasons after that. So congrats on Monty Williams on getting a good deal. And he is a very great coach because he led Phoenix to all this playoff success. So
Had a couple more years of failing, let's be honest. I mean, Chris Paul, come on.
that's the big reason why, though.
Yeah, he has to do with him for a couple more years. He deserves more money.
Yep.
The Washington Wizards are finalizing a deal to hire James Posey as the new assistant head coach.
Nice.
Posey spent 5 years with the Cleveland Cavaliers under Ty Lue and Dave Blatt the past season as an assistant in the UVA women's basketball program. Posey won 2 championships one with Miami and one with Boston, 06-08 respectively, and in his 12-year NBA career. Also, the NBA has fined Golden State Warriors owner Joe LaCobb $500,000 for publicly criticizing the league's luxury tax system and discussing collective bargaining talks.
Oh, wow.
Oh Lord.
Wow. Man. Sometimes you got to keep that damn mouth shut, or as Jericho would say, would you please shut the hell up?
For real.
Come on, dude. Know when to keep that mouth shut, because you can't say certain things in a public forum just because, I think I had the right to say it. Nope, not the case, good sir.
Nope.
Yep. What is that phrase? I always what is it? Words have consequences.
That's right.
Yup, absolutely.
Yep. Also, Miles Bridges of the Charlotte Hornets is pled not guilty to domestic violence charges after an incident that occurred earlier this month. His next court date is set for August 19th.
All right.
That's terrible. I don't understand.
I can't believe
so much money in doing that. My Lord, my God.
But anyways, we're going forward on this, and this is the final piece of real big NBA news, though. It's according from our buddy Adrian Wojnarowski. And that is that James Harden has agreed on a 2-year, $68.8 million deal, including a player option to return to the 76ers. Earlier, he declined his $47.4 million player option for the 2022-23 season, which has allowed the Sixers to use the full mid-level exception on PJ Tucker and a biannual exception to sign Daniel House.
Nice.
Oh, good for you, Mr. Harden, for taking a small chunk change out of the Sixers' pockets. Good for you. Now you get to fail even more.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Now show the hell up and play.
Yes.
Yes. Very, very good point. Very good point. Real quick, what's
Believe
up?
it or not, it was James Harden himself.
Is your name Ripley?
Anyways, believe it or not, it was James Harden himself who actually said, I know what I had to do to make this team better, and if it means taking a pay cut, then so be it.
Oh, I think you meant retire. Oh.
That was good.
Hey, good one, Randy.
Yeah, that'd be better for Philadelphia.
Oh yeah, definitely. Outside of that, really in the outside of the NBA world, it's pretty much it on that front. Real quick, I do want to go back to football real quick, because even though it's a minor procedure, it's put out there. and that is that Joe Burrow's going under an appendectomy. An appendectomy is, of course, a very, very minor procedure. Only takes about a week and a half to recover from. 2 weeks, depending on how fast you heal and get up and going. Coming from a guy who's had it, you gotta be up and walking. Usually, if you're up and walking, you're usually out of the hospital within at least 2 days, and then it's like a week and a half recovery. There's all it is: 3 small incisions. Boom, they pop it out. That's it. Game over. Game set match. So it's not that hard.
Yeah.
But of course, you hope for best because medical issues come out. Definitely. They can happen and cause serious complications, kind of like the news that came out about Hank Williams Jr.'s wife, which is completely unrelated to this, where she died from complications from liposuction.
Oh wow!
Oh wow!
She had a heart attack during liposuction and died.
I did not know that. Wow.
Yeah, but let's go with since we talked about that real quick, let's go into I have at least so far one MLB news note, and that is that the second overall pick in the MLB draft, Drew Jones, injured his shoulder during the first batting practice with the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Lord.
And he may miss the entire season.
Oh man. And also, Ezra, I was just reading that the MLB Players Association and the MLB players themselves have a deal as far as the players' rights, thinking that, we should have an international draft. Nope, that's not going to happen. Free agency will still remain intact.
Okay. Third overall pick, Kumar Rockers signed with the Texas Rangers on Tuesday, a week after he was drafted again, and a year after concerns over a physical led to him going unsigned by the Mets with the 10th overall pick. Cool. So they picked up some money there. Also, Giancarlo Stanton will be placed on a 10-day injury list because of Achilles tendonitis.
Ooh.
So, and then I believe there is one other news note real quick. Oh yeah. Wilson Contreras for the Chicago Cubs may have had his final play at Wrigley today.
Oh wow.
Because there's rumors are that he is to be traded.
Oh wow.
More than likely he will be traded away to, I believe it is, looking right now here. We're not sure. It's not fully sure where, but yeah, it was a very emotional farewell at Wrigley. Yeah, here we go. Here's Contreras has been in the organization since he was 16 and is set to become a free agent in this year's end. He is 30 years old.
Oh wow.
He and outfielder Ian Happ are both candidates to be traded, but as the Cubs continue a 2-year overhaul of their roster. That's 2 big key components that I think the Cubs are going to lose, and it's going to be definitely a rebuild for them. Because Wilson Contreras is one of the best catchers and one of the most underrated catchers in the league. I mean, he is a former champion, or he's a former World Series champion. So, with that being said, it's definitely sad to see him go, but we'll see where the Cubs take this from there. And also, let's do something we haven't done in a little bit. Let's check the standings of Major League Baseball now, shall we? Let's see where everybody is at.
Well, while you're pulling that up, Ezra, I have a little piece of information to share too.
That's what she said.
Heyo. But anyway, the news has now gone around that Braves outfielder Adam Duvall has suffered a wrist injury and he will be out for the rest of the season. So I'm expecting Alex Anthopoulos to plug into that trade deadline market and make some moves just like he did last year. That got us to a World Series title. So AA, good job, my brother.
Yep, definitely. Now that I've got the stats pulled up right now in the National League. The Dodgers are up 5.5 games above the Mets, with Atlanta trailing behind the Mets by 2 games. And then the San Diego Padres right behind them, 11.5 games out of first. And then Milwaukee with 12. And then St. Louis and going on down. Then we got on the American League, the Yankees leading the American League right now, 2 games above Houston. And then trailing behind them immensely is the Toronto Blue Jays at 10.5 games back out of first.
Oof.
And it's like a tight-knit race for that 3rd spot between Toronto, Minnesota, and Tampa Bay.
Or Boston the other night. Jesus. They
Oh,
got the
let's
rest.
talk about that.
Oh,
Boston getting out
5.
28-5, getting blown out of
I mean,
out of their home state. Not only that,
I swear those Boston
Not only that,
players. I
Tapia-
bet you. I mean, some of them Boston players did not even know what in the world was going on. I mean,
not only that, Tapia,
let that guy out there in center field. I can't remember his name, but he let the ball go completely over his head, and which led to the inside the park grand slam.
that's what I was
And
getting ready to mention by
and what-
Tapia.
the ball went over his head. He didn't even make an effort to try and run after the ball. He just stood there. I'm like, dude.
This is not no ordinary park where it can go out of there. That's the green monster we're talking about.
yup.
I mean,
All I can
don't-
hear in my head is, if y'all know the movie Angels in the Outfield, the remake from '94, when George Knox in that movie lit his team up like a damn Christmas tree on broad daylight. He lit into their asses, saying, "You're not trying." That right there was the Boston pathetic Red Sox. How in the hell do you allow any baseball team to go into your ballpark and not only whip your ass, but completely fucking annihilate you 28-5 on your home ballpark? Not even a contest, not even trying their hardest to get back in the game. Multiple runs were scored in multiple innings, and it was just an absolute slaughtering of the Red Sox as we know them this year. This right here might be the most crippling loss of this season for Boston.
You know, Stephen, is very interesting that you brought up Angels in the Outfield. One more loss, which could have been a win. You call yourself professionals. I ain't never ever seen a worse group of 25 players.
You don't think as a team. You don't
You
look
don't
like a
play
team.
as a
You don't
team.
even lose
You
like
don't
a
even
team.
lose as a team. You all got your heads so far up your butts.
You can't even see the light of day.
Yes.
As the great Arnold Schwarzenegger once said in Kindergarten Cop, "You are weak. You lack discipline."
And also, shout outs to our boy Hijacker Mike. He was actually at the filming of that movie in the stands at the games for the movie.
Nice.
So
Yes.
very cool that Hijacker got to be a part of that. It's one of my favorite movies as a kid, especially
Yes.
sports films. I mean,
Nice.
Oh, yeah,
so
definitely.
good,
Definitely
so
love
good.
it. Seen it in a while, but I love it. Speaking of, we mentioned the Yankees. Right now, going on actually is the Subway Series between the Yankees and the Mets.
We know Elder Mike's watching that.
Right now, the Mets are leading 5-2 over the Yankees in the top of the 4th.
Ah,
Oh,
come on, Yankees, for once, come through for me.
come on.
For once, come through for me.
He
You
can't
know,
be that.
Brian Rosa is sitting there watching this game. Come on, Mets, don't screw this up, because Brian keeps on saying to us that the Mets, he's like, they're gonna screw it up eventually. But we know Mike, he loves his boys. And Pete Alonso, man, the other night he was incredible, for the Mets. And man, just the dude is just still killing it this season for the Mets, and giving the Mets hope. And the Mets are doing very well so far. So far they haven't blown it yet, but knowing the Mets, eventually the season will be over.
Yeah.
Right now, they're
Season-
5.5 games back behind the Dodgers, so they gotta play a little catch up. But I think they have an
Yep.
opportunity to really possibly steal that first place finish if they can put together some wins. Joey disagrees, but what do I know? I'm impartial. Both my teams suck, but
Yeah.
both my teams suck. The Cubs are four or 25 games out of first, and the White Sox is 17 and a half.
Well,
Hey,
Ezra,
I will say that the one bright spot for the Cubs was that they were able to sweep the Phillies over the weekend. So
Yep.
I will say
And
that.
And also, Ezra, the biggest bright spot for you, unlike Cleveland Browns fans, you actually saw Chicago win a championship. Cleveland fans will never see the Browns win a Super Bowl.
The only time there's a Browns at a Super Bowl is when everybody has to take a crap during the game.
Yeah.
Well, those teams do have something with in common with Cleveland teams. All I ever used to hear is maybe next year. That's it.
At
No,
least
I
the Cubs broke the curse and the White Sox won one in my lifetime, so I could say that.
Yeah, you're right.
Hey,
about
actually, Randy, the maybe next year. No way.
And the hilarious
That
thing
is
is both games I went to for both teams were championship season games.
that.
Nice.
Dallas' slogan is "This is our year." That's Dallas' slogan, which of course never comes to be.
This is our year. The trade.
What
This
to
is
blow
our
again?
year. This is our year. The trade. This is our
Yeah.
year to get the
To
first
fail.
round.
The choke in the playoffs.
This is our year to sign
To run
somebody.
13 seconds off the clock.
Yeah.
This is our
I'd
this is our year to have.
rather than run 38 seconds off the clock than leave 4 minutes early, LeBron.
Yep.
This is our year to not remember the rules of the game. This is our year.
Ain't that
This is our year to have. This is our year to have our quarterback slide down in the middle of the field on a 4th and 13 quarterback draw and cost us the game.
yeah, basically, ain't it?
This was our year to watch Boston get their asses whooped by Toronto 28-5.
Ouch.
Pathetic.
Ouch.
Pathetic.
Oh gosh.
Cannot get over that score. That is humiliating for the Red Sox fans and their team and their players. I mean, and the organization. I mean, all those runs to give up in that game.
Couldn't have no
Well,
better.
I will say that unfortunately that is not the worst lopsided score we've seen in the pros. That honor belongs to the Texas Rangers crushing the Baltimore Orioles a few years back, 30-3.
Jesus.
Yeah, 30-3 a few years ago.
Oh, I remember that game.
Totally
I
forgot
remember that
about
game.
that
That
one.
was a nutty game. I remember that.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, 30-3. That's a football score.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
almost the score of the Patriots and the Jets in 2010, but it was 45-3. Oops, sorry, Jets fans.
Ay, basura.
Yeah.
Oh man. There was one other big news story, and I think it involved the WNBA actually. I believe it was one of their players actually wanted out. I'm trying to remember who exactly. Here it is. Liz Cambridge, the star for the LA Sparks, has agreed to a contract divorce with their team after rumors after rumors came out that the star had quit her team.
Wow.
Yep, I guess her and the management are not getting along, so
Wow.
she left. That's pretty much all I have for news for today. Any of you guys got anything you want to add before we close out the show?
I think I'm
I'm
good.
good.
All right. Then I guess we could roll with it. Final thoughts, Randy. You know the drill. Start it off, buddy.
Yeah. Hey, great show tonight, guys. As always, great talking with you on the sports, and looking forward to the next couple of weeks where we do some previews. I get to be a part of that, so I'm looking forward to it, and now I have to do some homework. Thanks a lot, Ezra, and Steven. Thanks a lot. No, but it'll help me to know more about some of the opponents for the Raiders this year and everything too. So,
Hey, at least you do your
Good to
homework,
know.
unlike Murray has, for the Cardinals, last year.
right, yeah, definitely. So, but great show, guys. Thank as always. Thanks for having me, and everybody have a good. Hope everybody has a great rest of their week.
All right. Joe, you know the drill.
Once again, another fine show with you guys. I love coming on here and talking about sports. I'm definitely looking forward to starting next week where we do our coverage of the NFL preview. I've already got my NFL preview magazine ramped up, ready to go. So I'm going to be doing me some homework over the week. And I'm looking forward to it.
Same here.
I'm so looking forward to it. And also, I want to extend a very, very special congratulations to a certain wrestler who I grew to admire over the past number of years, finally winning his first world championship in the history of wrestling. Yes, folks, I'm talking about the man formerly known as Cesaro, Claudio Castagnoli,
Hell yeah.
winning the Ring of Honor World Championship. Congratulations, my man. You deserved it.
That pay-per-view was outstanding, man.
Yes, it was. It one of the best pay-per-views of the year. Ring of Honor is getting back to its former self. It's looking really good. Congratulations to Claudio.
Absolutely, man. You deserved it.
Freezes the Up Up Down Now people might know who watches Up Up Down Now stuff for his streaming stuff. He did it all. He did it all by himself. He took the challenge, won it. A lot of respect. No Kahootie, no bonehead moves. All the best, but congratulations to Claudio on that. Huge.
Yeah, very absolutely. Congratulations to Claudio. And also real quick, I'm really getting in bright spirits, gentlemen, because I'm going to the beach starting Thursday. Going to be gone for a few days, and of course, my 30th birthday is coming up this Saturday, so it's time to party, boys.
Yeah,
it's time to party.
Birthday.
Happy early birthday, brother.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Speaking of about Claudio's win, that's very European, I think. And another thing, my birthday is in 2 days. So
yep.
Thank
Nice.
you. Happy birthday, bro.
Happy birthday, Randy.
Thank you. I'll be 102. So that's awesome.
You only look 101.
That's it. That's right.
Also, real quick, we'd also like to extend a very happy birthday to the new head of creative for WWE, Mr. Triple H.
Yes.
Happy birthday to the game.
Man, I am so excited as a longtime wrestling fan. A new era in professional wrestling is already just getting underway because the King of Kings, the cerebral assassin, Triple H, is the head of creative, taking over the head of creative for WWE, and just really, excited, for what him and Stephanie are going to bring to WWE, and hopefully the changes are going to be good. And knowing the start of last night, Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman last night were just on fire in Madison Square Garden. The little lines that Roman had that crowd in the palm of his hands, and Paul Heyman had that crowd in his hands as always he does. But just that start of Raw last night reminded me as growing up as an Attitude Era kid and watching that shit back in the 90s and early 2000s and just the total chaos that happened back in the days. And just so excited, for, the future of WWE and hope that the product gets better from here on out. Because there obviously was some good things in the past 10 to 15 years, but the future is looking very bright with Triple H and Stephanie as the head of WWE, basically.
Exactly. And not to mention, whenever Theory came out and once again teased another cash in, which, by the way, I hope he cashes in and loses because I can't stand the guy. But whenever Theory came out last night during Raw and Roman Reigns looked at him dead in the eye and said, your daddy's gone. And I'm like,
That
yep,
crowd ate that up and just
yes,
started
it
heckling him.
did.
Who's your daddy? And then Roman goes, he keeps messing with the tribal chief. I'm gonna be his daddy. I'm like, oh damn, he just burned him.
Yeah,
And
I'm
just
telling you, Raw. I mean, the Raw creative team might actually be starting to get halfway decent now that Triple H is in charge, and I'm looking forward to it.
and we wouldn't be remiss if we didn't bring up Vince. I mean, look, we know Vince has had some issues, issues over the years. He's done some bad things. We've all had our demons in our lives. But Vince,
Oh yeah,
thank you for entertaining us, on television, with the storylines that you did with Austin and The Rock and Triple H and Undertaker and all of that stuff, and just what a run, what a run.
John Cena, Randy Orton.
Taking professional wrestling from the territory days and making it a global phenomenon that the WWF/WWE became. And because of Vince, because if Vince didn't do what he did, we would not be where we are at today as wrestling fans with AEW, with GCW, Mission Pro Wrestling, and there wouldn't be a New Japan, back in the day, New Japan and All Japan and all of these organizations that have came.
TNA, Ring of Honor.
Yup. It all started pretty much, like him or not, because of Vince McMahon. And, Vince has done a lot of great things. He's done some bad things as well. We're all not perfect. But, Vince, thank you for the great things that you did for wrestling.
Absolutely. Steven, you know the drill. I'm not a close.
Oh, and I wouldn't be reminisce before I get to my final thoughts if we didn't bring this match up from Saturday. Or you talk about a classic 5 stars? FTR, the Briscoes, 2 out of 3. Went all 3 falls. Instant classic. That is how you tell stories in professional wrestling. None of this flippy dippy bullshit. None of this gimmicky bullshit. Just 4 dudes, 2 tag teams, 2 of the best tag teams in pro wrestling, going out there and showing these folks how wrestling psychology, telling stories, selling, registering, all that fine jazz, all of that good stuff is done because the Briscoes and FTR absolutely out-topped themselves from the Mania Weekend Classic over there in Dallas, and on that Friday, the weekend of Mania. And Saturday night was on the edge of your seat wrestling action. And we know beyond a shadow of a doubt that this Saturday on the Nation's Corner live, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central, 4 p.m. Pacific, that the Nation's Corner crew is going to be talking about the action-packed weekend of Ring of Honor Wrestling's Death Before Dishonor this weekend. And you can follow the Nation's Corner on Twitter at Nation's Corner. Everywhere else on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, you know the drill. It's at the Nation's Corner. Ezra, you know how to wrap this up, my friend? Wrap us up, buddy.
Absolutely. Thank you to you 4 gentlemen. As always, it's always a grand time. It's gonna be awesome. Can't wait. Like you said, happy birthday to Joey, happy birthday to Randy, happy birthday to Triple H, and happy birthday to anybody whose birthday is this weekend.
Oh yeah, and real quick, also Ezra, have a great time this weekend over there in Chicago at the Metallica show this Thursday, and hopefully you can score a ticket to the Metro show for Green Day in Chicago and see an intimate show. I mean, would the show on Sunday be great? Yeah, but seeing them at a smaller club would be fantastic. And also shout outs to Ashley. She's going to Kansas City this Saturday. Our very own Ashley is going to the Chiefs football stadium to see one of the icons of country music, the king himself, George Strait. And opening up is Chris Stapleton and Lady A. That's going to be a hell of a show. Hell of a show.
Yes, it's absolutely going to be a hell of a show.
Have fun, Ash. Love you, girl.
Absolutely. As usual, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for joining us for this 2-hour-long session of sports. A little bit of music, a little bit of wrestling in there, but mainly just sports. It's been a great discussion of all the things NFL, NBA, MLB, whatever we can get our hands on for the week. We thank you guys so much. Don't forget to follow our social medias, which will be at the bottom of the platform, our individual ones. Follow 2C Cosplay, follow Nation's Corner, follow Our Nation Sports Show. You know the drill. So, for Randy Giron, for Stephen Wyand, and for our buddy Joseph Thornton here, and as well as Kevin Rory, I am Ezra Vickery. We will see you right here next week for another great edition of our Nation Sports Show. Take care, everybody, and have a great weekend. Peace.
Turn me up. Turn me up. Turn me up. Turn me up.